Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to share with you the top 10 for sale by owner listing presentation objections and how to respond. What to say when you hear these objections. I have 10 of them here. I am going to tell you exactly what to say. But before I start, I have to say the following to you, okay? When you make a great presentation, there are a lot of videos on my YouTube channel on listing presentation, for sale by owner listing presentations, what to do, what to say. When you make a great presentation, you shouldn't have any of these objections. So let's start there, but assuming you get these objections, here's how you respond. First one I wrote down is, do you have a buyer? Anytime you hear an objection, the first thing you do is you acknowledge and validate, you repeat and approve the objection. Mr. Seller, that is a great question. And obviously, in the sale of your home, the most important thing is to find a buyer. And secondly, obviously, you want to sell your home for the most money possible. And Mr. Seller, I'm not going to insult your intelligence and tell you that I have a buyer for your home right now. I do work with buyers and sellers at any given time. The reason why I am here and I want to work with you is I am confident that I know exactly what to do to find the right buyer for your home. And ultimately, that's what you expect an agent to do for you, isn't it? Here's number 2. Bring me a buyer and I'll pay you a commission. Mr. Seller, I appreciate the offer. I mean, it's a very generous offer, and I will definitely keep your home in mind. So what I hear you saying is you're willing to pay a portion of the commission should I or another agent be able to bring you a buyer. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. 100%. And again, I appreciate that, Mr. Seller. So I'm assuming in that case, since you're willing to pay a portion of the commission, you're really looking to save the other portion of the commission that it would cost you to hire an agent to represent you. So we're breaking down the commission. And now I say, Mr. Seller, if I can show you a way where I can more than make up for the difference in commission you're looking to save, would you consider working with me? That's how you respond to that. Third one, I don't want to pay a commission. Every FSBO says that. And Mr. Seller, I completely understand. And I imagine that you don't want to pay a commission because you want to be able to keep as much money as possible from the sale of your home. Obviously, you're looking to net the most money possible. Would that be fair to say? Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, the commission is a lot of money. Absolutely. And I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Seller. And yes, the commission is a large chunk of money. And at the same time, Mr. Seller, let me ask you, if I can show you how working with me and paying a commission will make you money and not cost you money. In essence, my commission would be an investment where you would have a return on your investment. You wouldn't be an expense. If I can show you how that can be possible, would you consider working with me? Now you have to show them. Number 4, call me in a month. And Mr. Seller, I can absolutely follow up with you. I'm going to be selling real estate a month from now, so I can definitely stay in touch with you. And here's what I'm thinking, Mr. Seller, in this process of selling the home, because you want to give it some time, right, to see if you could actually sell it. And quite honestly, I have no doubt that you can sell it. And at the same time, in this process of selling it, would you agree with me, Mr. Seller, and correct me if I'm wrong? Your number 1 priority is to sell your home for the most money possible. And secondly, keep as much money as possible. I mean, that's what's most important for you, isn't it? Well, obviously it is. And I understand, I completely agree. And Mr. Seller, in that case, if I can show you how working with me will allow you to net more money than if you sold it yourself. In essence, you can walk away from the closing table with more money than if you do it yourself. Would you consider it? Number 5, we have interested buyers. Let's see what happens with them first. Okay, great. I would say. And Mr. Seller, I completely understand. Obviously, you've had buyers look at the property and they showed interest and they told you they're going to come back and they might make you an offer. So you want to see how that's going to go. And Mr. Seller, is it fair to say that in this process of selling the property, you want to make sure that you get it sold for the most money possible? I mean, that's the whole reason why you decided not to list with an agent, because you don't even want to pay a commission. You want to be able to walk away from the closing table with the most money possible, right? And they're going to say, yes, exactly right. And here's what I want you to consider, Mr. Seller. Even though you have this one buyer that's interested, or even if it's 2 or 3, you have some interested buyers. Wouldn't you agree with me, Mr. Seller, that if instead of having one buyer interested in your property, you had multiple buyers, we were able to maximize the demand and actually get more buyers interested in your property, you would be more likely to sell your home for a higher price than if you only have one interested buyer. See, Mr. Seller, that is exactly what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to open up the market. Rather than just having a small number of buyers look at your home, I'm going to make sure that 100% of the buyers that are buying in your area, in your price range, know that your home is for sale. And I'm also going to make sure that 100% of the buyers' agents working with a number of buyers at any given time know about your home, so we can maximize the demand and we can bring in more interested buyers. Because this one buyer, Mr. Seller, also, they know that you're selling on your own. They probably know that they're the only interested buyer, so they can drag their feet, they can make low offers because they have no competition for your home. I'm going to maximize the demand for you, Mr. Seller. And actually, if this buyer is really interested, you can let them know that you listed the property with an agent. And if they're serious, they're going to come in and bring an offer to your property right away. And by me maximizing the demand, we're likely to be able to negotiate a higher price for your property. Ultimately, that's what you want, isn't it? Let's go ahead and get this done, right? So we can go to work and sell your home for the most money possible. I just need your signature right here. Okay, next one. Can you sell it for more than what I am asking so we can add your commission to it? So in essence, let's say they're asking $500,000 and now they're thinking, well, if I'm going to list with you, we need to add your commission to this price. So can we sell it for $530,000? And usually 500 is already overpriced, right? It's already crazy price anyway, because everybody wants more money for the house than their house is worth. So how you respond to this is, Mr. Seller, that is a great question. Obviously, you want to sell your home for the most money possible. And here's what I propose we do, Mr. Seller. Let me share with you, before we discuss price, all of the reasons why working with me would benefit you financially. Because ultimately, Mr. Seller, the purpose and the reason why we would need to agree on the price is if you're considering working with me. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to sell it for $500,000 on your own. And for you to consider working with me, you're going to have to see the value in actually hiring me and paying a commission. So let me share that information with you first, and then we'll go over the market analysis that I prepared for your property, and you and I will agree on what is the highest price that we can sell your property for in today's market. Fair enough? And this is so important. You never discuss price with a FSBO until after you've gone through the netting FSBOs more money presentation, because if they don't see a reason to list with you, discussing price is useless and you're actually just digging a hole for yourself. The next one is, I have a friend in real estate. Every FSBO, maybe FSBOs even have more friends in real estate than most people. Everybody has a friend in real estate. FSBOs have more. So you acknowledge, Mr. Seller, I completely understand. And I would imagine that you're thinking, wait, if I'm going to go ahead and use an agent, I might as well consider working with someone that I know, that is my friend. And Mr. Seller, if I can show you how working with someone other than your friend may actually be an advantage for you in the sale of your home, is that something that you might consider? See, this objection and a lot of objections, in order for them to consider another option, whether it's a different agent or listing the property when they're selling on their own, you're going to have to show the value, the reason, the benefits, the advantages. Otherwise, they won't. If they have a friend in real estate, why would they consider working with you if you and the friend are equal? So when there's an advantage, there's a benefit, then it would make sense for them to do it. The next one is, I'm going to list with a neighborhood specialist. And Mr. Seller, I could see from your perspective how a neighborhood specialist would be the natural person for you to work with, because I would imagine you're thinking, well, they work in this neighborhood, so they probably are working with people that want to buy in this area. And that may be true, Mr. Seller. Now, here's what I want you to consider. Let's put yourself in the position of a buyer. Let's say you're buying a home and you've decided that you want to buy in this particular neighborhood. Are you only going to look at the properties that are listed with the so-called neighborhood specialist, or will you want to look at all of the homes available for sale in your price range that fit your criteria, regardless of who the listing agent is? What's the obvious answer? Yes, of course. I mean, you don't care who the agent is. You've decided to buy in this area. You're going to look at all of the properties. And see, Mr. Seller, this neighborhood specialist, you would think they're working with people that already decided to buy here. I mean, those people are going to look at your home no matter who your agent is. Now, the advantage of working with an agent like myself that doesn't specialize in this area. Actually, I don't specialize in any area. I specialize in selling homes for the most money possible in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle, which I know is what you want, isn't it? And the advantage for you in working with me is that I work this entire market. And very often, Mr. Seller, buyers look at a property and there's something about it when they call on a property or they see it online or they walk into an open house, they say, well, this is not in my price range, or I need more space, or I need a bigger backyard. And I can say to those buyers that are in other areas that I work, because I work this entire area, I can say, well, I can take you to this neighborhood your neighborhood, that they may not even ever have heard of it. And all of a sudden, they fall in love with your property because it fits their criteria, even though they were looking for properties 30 minutes away. In essence, Mr. Seller, I can cross-sell. That's what I do. So I'm going to be able to attract and bring in buyers to your home from all different areas and maximize the demand for your property, which is going to cause it to sell for more money and actually sell faster. And that's what you want, isn't it? That was a little bit of a long one, but you got it now. Number 9, I sold FSBO before and I know I can sell it. Every FSBO says that, right? Over the phone, in person, at the appointment. And here's what you do. Don't ever disagree with them. Mr. Seller, I have no doubt that you can sell it. I mean, especially considering that you've sold other properties on your own before. So of course you can sell it. And Mr. Seller, if there was a better way for you to get this home sold, where you knew you would be able to actually net more money from the sale than if you were to sell it yourself, especially in today's market, is that something that you would consider? Again, remember, how are you going to be able to net in more money? Because if you're not, that's the essence of the presentation. There are videos on my channel where I role-played that entire presentation. Go find them. You have to be able to do that, because otherwise they shouldn't list with you. That's the honest truth. And the last one I wrote down is, I'm thinking of listing with a flat fee agent. or broker. One of those you pay $400 or $500 and they put it in the MLS for you. Mr. Seller, again, I understand why you would consider using one of these companies, because obviously your goal is to be able to walk away from the closing table with the most money possible. So if you just pay a flat fee and then you offer a commission to a buyer's agent, at least you're saving a portion of the commission that it would cost to hire an agent like myself to represent you, right? Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Exactly. And Mr. Seller, if I can show you how working with me will more than make up for the difference in commission that you're looking to save, is that something that you would consider? Well, if you could show me that, you've heard me say this again and again in different ways throughout this entire video, and I use it all the time. The if blank, would you blank questions, they're hypothetical. The seller's not committing to anything. And at the same time, it's very hard for them to say no. Because if you say, if I can show you how it would benefit you, would you consider? Why wouldn't they consider? It would be illogical for people to say no to that. And that opens the door for you to show them how you're going to be able to more than make up for that commission. And how you make up for it is by all of the services that you provide, maximizing the demand, bringing ready, willing, and able buyers, all of your negotiating skills, removing legal liability for them by handling the offer, the disclosures, the terms of the contract, making sure everything is done correctly. There's so many reasons why you net more money. Again, there are so many videos on my channel where I discuss this. So if you're a little bit lost and you don't know what I'm talking about, there are plenty of resources on my channel. So these are your top 10 and how you respond to them. I trust that this was helpful for you. Put your comments and your questions below. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. I will see you soon.